Hey everyone, this is Joey Casada, otherwise known as Joey Licious. You're listening to Steve, BC, Dylan, and BB on Potter Than Hell.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host. I'm joined this week by
BB.
On the keyboards tonight is
Dylan.
And one of our favorite, well, you're all our favorite returning guests, but Dave, you're one of our favorites, absolutely. Definitely in the top 20. Dave Borosky, how are you, my friend?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me again.
No, it's great to have you back. Like I said, we always like having Dave on here, and as you've seen by the title, see that, Dylan? I'm finally getting used to that shit.
Yep.
We're doing another round of classic rock songs, and we like to have Dave on for that, because he plays
classic.
that shit all the time.
He's classic.
And he's a classic, too.
He is. He's a classic guy.
He is. Ask his wife. She'll say he's definitely a classic, for sure. All right, so, Dave, how are you, buddy?
I am well. I'm well. Enjoying the summertime off, even though, this is a good summer to be just stuck by the pool and doing nothing.
Playing any shows out?
We just started, actually. We did a couple just small things. Wedding, other than contracted jobs, that's about it. Right now, even, the situation is just... It's bizarre.
Sucks.
It's weird and it's uncomfortable. Even seeing people in masks, and it's just a different animal. It's a whole new normal, I guess, is what we're looking for.
Well, it's got to be weird for you because, if you guys out there, if you have ever seen Dave and his band play, which if you don't live around here, I'm sure you haven't. But when Dave's wife sings, he has the wireless on his bass, and he likes to walk around the venue and play, and so that's probably not happening now, right?
The weirdest thing was people came up and started dancing. Our first show, we were playing a job down in Scranton, and the manager came over and said, "You can't dance in front of the band. You can dance at your table, just up by your
dance
chair,
on the table."
I guess so. But as long as nobody's up there dancing with you, it was
maybe
very weird.
Maybe they really couldn't dance, and he just didn't want to see it.
Yeah,
maybe
you people can't dance. Get the fuck off the floor.
Exactly. That's been very odd, and it's just a whole different vibe. It's a whole different feel now.
Yeah,
we better buy him a set of cement shoes. You got to stand. You can't go anywhere.
Those pool noodles. I attach them to a belt, and I just.
We're gonna give him a 3-foot cord to his amp, and that's it.
I don't cut my strings on the acoustic guitar. You keep them really dangly, and people they'll learn. It just takes one time getting poked with them because it hurts.
Yeah, it's definitely different out there. And before we get going, BB, you've probably seen it. I don't know. You guys probably seen it. Steel Panther is playing a show at one of the shows that they're playing is at the drive-in near us. It's going to be September 12th, so that'll be kind of different and kind of cool. So, do you want to go?
we may be secretly going away that week. I don't want to.
You don't want to jinx it?
You do know that this is broadcast to at least 10 people, so it's no longer a secret.
That's true. But I think we may be going deep woods of Tennessee. For the week of that week.
You better You're gonna have to quarantine 2 weeks after that. Then
thinking about it, it's going to be an extended vacation, but that's why That's why we're going to be in the middle of the woods and not say anything.
Take a lot of fucking bug spray with you. Yeah, and it's funny because actually I get home today and my youngest son Carson goes, "Hey Dad, could I borrow your Yeti cooler?" I'm like, "When?" He goes, September 12th, I said no because I'll probably be using it for the Steel Panther show, right? Yeah, God damn it. Which is weird that he wants to go to that.
Yeah, definitely. If we're not going, I'm definitely going.
Yeah, we
have to at least find poor people because it's crazy.
Well, it's more expensive than Garth Brooks, but the band is there.
The
band is there. So it's I think it's $155 for a car, maximum of 4 people in it.
Okay.
So it'll be like the old days.
And they're different sections. There's 2 different sections, too.
Yeah, there's a gold section or whatever, so I don't know.
Golden shower section.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they call it. Maybe they will call it that.
Want to put it past them.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So there's one in Pittsburgh, and then there's one near us, which we'll have to hit up. So it's kind of cool.
And they're also doing they're going to broadcast some Stones thing I heard on the radio today. They're giving away tickets for it, some kind of concert that it seems like this is the only way we're going to get to see shows is you have to go to a drive-in to see these shows, I guess. or recordings or however you want to call it. But
Yeah, it's going to be different. And actually, our friends at the I Love It Loudcast just did an episode on like this COVID stuff and what they think is going to be coming up, coming down the road concert-wise and stuff like that. It was a really interesting conversation they had, so check that out. It was I Love It Loudcast with Pete Ciceri and Vinny Folletti. Very, very interesting episode those guys had, and I was like nodding my head at some things and shaking my head at some things, but like it's a different world out there. It's going to suck for a while, like music-wise, for sure. And like I said before, every fucking band out there better have a new album out in 2021.
Yep. It's going to be tough to pick a favorite album because there's going to be flooded.
I know, no shit. There's not enough time to listen to all the stuff that's out now, let alone, when everything comes out next year. So, and actually, I want to thank Joey Casada again. He was on the episode with us last week. He was on the when we did about our influences, which I thought was a cool episode. I thought it was something different for us. What do you think, Don?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking about stuff that normally we don't talk about on the show. We were talking about musicals at one point. That was really fun. Talk about different magazines that we all grew up reading. I was going to say watching, watch magazines, but it was a really cool discussion. And Joey's a really nice guy.
Yeah, it was cool having him on.
Yeah, definitely. You're reminiscing, looking back of how you actually became like the walking jukebox that you are. And a couple of these songs that we will talk about today definitely brings back a couple of memories for myself. So it's almost like a back-to-back, win-win situation. Fantastic way to, not only, think about the way you learned and where you got your musical history from, but everybody else. It was really, really great episode.
Very cool. Dave, give me two influences that you had growing up. We just did an influence episode last week. Off the top of your head.
Bass-wise?
Just music-wise. Your musical, that affected your musical taste.
I was a big Scorpions fan, and I was a big AC/DC fan as a teenager. So for me, it was just that meat and potatoes. Even though it's bluesy stuff, Scorpions were just a new thing, especially 70s Scorpions. I loved like Tokyo Tapes, Virgin Killer. In Trance is a great album. That stuff wasn't very big in the States, but my brothers and I were very much into it. So the Francis Buchholz on the bass there, and Cliff Williams for AC/DC, just thundering it down. And then my wife introduced me to the Dead Milkmen, and that was some great bass playing. And even like just the Clash and the stuff that they were doing where the bass drives the song, and then you start looking for it as you find the instrument for me. But I was just a ratty guitar guy. That's cool. Just wanted to rock out with 3-chord tunes.
Right, notice how effortlessly he says Scorpions and not the Scorpions.
I know.
You can tell he's a true fan.
We like that. We like that. We like that.
My first concert I ever went to, and it was a guy that I had gone to school with, and he was only there because he had heard it was a greatest hits album or something. That was the only album he had, and I said, "Why get out of here?
Take it a little deeper.
You have no business being there. Rock You Like a Hurricane. That's not Scorpions. Get out of here. That's a commercial."
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's the producer looking to fill his pockets.
Yeah. But you can't deny the riff, though. You can't deny the riff on that one. All right. So before we get rocking in here, let's see what everybody's listening to. Dylan, how about you this week? We'll go with you first.
I decided to go off the beaten path and try out a band that I've heard a lot about going through my musical journey, but never really checked out. I saw they had a new song, and I figured, why not? The band Gojira from France, they had a song called Another World. They were originally called Godzilla, but they changed it to Gojira because that's the
Japanese word.
The romanticized.
Romanticized?
Yeah, the romanticized Japanese version of Godzilla. Thank you for getting the word right for me.
No problem.
That's been I think that's the first in like 166 episodes.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around.
I know. I feel humbled, but it was a good song. I enjoyed them. I'm going to have to check out their back catalog because it was a good, heavy song. And
what was the name of
it? The song was called Another World. It was really, really enjoyable, so I recommend it to anybody that wants to try out the band.
All right, cool. How about you, Dave?
I actually have been delving this summer into some of the, I guess we'll call it the genealogy of Kansas. Steve Walsh, when he had left the band in '77 and then '79, and then he left a handful of times over the years. But he did some solo stuff, and it's not Kansas. It's really weird. Where he didn't want to just be the songwriter. It's a band called The Streets. It's called. You could type in Streets and maybe get it, but The Streets. 2 albums first, and Crimes in Mind, and very interesting. It's 80s type rock. But it's not out there, and I was really getting into it. Even some Steve Morse stuff. Steve Morse did he came in and played guitar on the Power album, which is just a killer album by them in '85. But some of his stuff, he was in this a band called the Dixie Dregs, and they're like I don't know, they're kind of jazzy. They're
Right.
They're jazzy numbers, but they have the violin with them.
They're one of those
And it
bands
tells a
that's hard to
whole-
categorize.
It's really interesting. So sitting out by the fire, I've been jumping into some Dixie Dregs, and even and Steve Walsh, even though he retired in 2014, he just put another new album out
Like 2 years ago.
Black Butterfly, 2017, and it's very good.
That was good. That was a good album.
It's a little heavier than what he, than Schemer Dreamer stuff, but it's it's still him, and it's still. He sounds great. I can't remember the guy that's singing with him, but he sounds very much like him, and I think he's helping a little bit on some of the higher stuff, backing vocals. But that's what I've been jamming with, some inside of Kansas.
Cool.
I guess.
BB.
I'm going to turn back the clock because going back into these classic rock songs, I realized how horrible my library is with REO Speedwagon. They're almost like the big three. You got like Foreigner, you got Bad Company, and you got REO Speedwagon. For some reason, I missed the REO Speedwagon boat. So I kind of hopped on that this week and really started getting into their catalog because the songs that were on our list were really, really good, and I didn't know them. So I went back and almost revisited REO Speedwagon.
You didn't mention Styx, by the way, when you said those bands.
Oh, the big three?
Yeah. I'm just saying,
I didn't
you
say
seem to
Styx.
leave them out a little bit every now and then. No, but those early REO Speedwagon albums are freaking great.
I have that in my things here. I mean, it's Gary Richrath, right, on guitar.
Yeah.
He gets no credit.
No, I know.
Accolades for the great work he does,
rips,
man.
and we have two songs we're going to talk about when we get going in this list here, and we'll get a little devil in one. But like, fantastic stuff. Those early albums are great, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I mean, it is cool to go back and check out stuff like that, and you're like, why haven't I checked these guys out? And for me, still rocking to the new Alcatraz album, and actually. Tomorrow, myself and Hoover will be interviewing Graham Bonnet, and we actually have an interview with Rick Emmett from Triumph as well tomorrow. So guys will be hearing that in a couple weeks. We're going to put out as a special episode, and real good album. I love it, and there's I've delved into like a little deeper into it. There's a bunch of different guys playing on it, and you'll have to listen to the interview to see who were. You can look for it yourself. But Sonny Pooney the other day brought up an album for me to check out. It's called they're called War Kings, and the album's called Revenge. It came out this year. This is the band that you want Man of War to be. You want it's like Man of War type music, but not those high screechy vocals that Man of War has. Like not that shit. Like that just like drives me crazy. And how'd that go? Dylan's thing just spiked. And new Avatar album, Hunter Gatherer, is excellent. And new Deep Purple album came out last week. Whoosh. Whoosh. Really? And it's really good. It's really good. It's got to grow me a little bit more than like Infinity was fantastic. So I need to listen to a little more to hopefully get it up there. But there's really a good album. So there's a lot of cool stuff out there, you guys. So we're listening to I got Alcatraz and War Kings and an Avatar and Deep Purple. BB's delving into some REO Speedwagon. Dylan's got some Gojira, Another World. The song is, and you said that was a new single, right?
Yeah, it was a new single that was released.
Dave is delving into Kansas, and Steve Walsh outside of Kansas, and the band is The Streets. So check those out, and let's get into our songs here. So we did our usual scientific method. We picked out a BC's crappy Raiders hat once again, the names, and Dylan's going first today.
Go figure. So when I was picking these songs, it was very tough because we picked so many good songs last time, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't pick any of the same artists that I picked the last time, or I didn't pick any artists that anybody else at the table picked. Of course, that went out the window when I forgot that there was a date range that we had to follow.
That's all right. That's no problem.
So I had to call an audible on one of my songs in order to play by the rules, because I always yell at you, Dad, for breaking from that, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. I want to stick with them. I want to be a good example for you.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah. So I decided to stick within the rules. I pulled an audible on the song. I was going to pick Hungry Days by Deep Purple from the Perfect Strangers album, but it's off my list now. Great song, though. I think everybody could agree that was a good song.
Yes.
At least.
Enjoyable, absolutely.
Yes.
But I'll go with what did make my list. To start it off, one of the best opening songs for a set list. It wasn't the opening song on the album itself. It was, I think, the opening song of side 2. But The Chain from Fleetwood Mac on their amazing album Rumors. Fantastic building song. It just starts really moody and eerie with the cool guitars and the simple, just simple single drum from Mick Fleetwood. I love the background vocals, especially from Christine McVie with the towards the end of the chorus. That's really haunting, and you can't deny John McVie's simple but clean bass line in the middle of the song that builds up to this awesome frenetic pace that Lindsey Buckingham just kills with the shredding at the end of it. The Chain is just a quintessential classic rock song in my mind. I love Fleetwood Mac. I think this is a great song. Though it's a popular song from them, I think it's popular for a reason. The next song I wanted to pick from a new wave band, but still pretty rockin' for the song. The band Blondie from the album Parallel Lines, the song One Way or Another. Debbie Harry's vocals, she just sounds psychotic in it, and she has the energy behind it, and I love the kind of keyboard synthetic stuff that's going on, and the guitar riff is just so cool, and it's a really fun, energetic song that can be kind of creepy if you listen to the lyrics, but I definitely wouldn't want to get on Debbie Harry's bad side from this song. The next song from a band that I think defines, well, maybe not to some people, but rock, the Beatles. They definitely inspired a lot of people. From their self-titled album, also known as the White Album, that actually came out on my birthday in 1968, November 22nd. The song While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Cool thing about this song, it features a rare guest appearance from an artist. Eric Clapton plays the electric guitar on it, and he kills the solo in the song. Really good showing from George Harrison in writing the song. He's probably, I think, the most underrated writer of the Beatles. He does a lot of really good stuff, and it's really cool that... Well, I find it interesting that the song that is known probably for some of the best guitar work on the Beatles, and it's Eric Clapton that plays the solo, but it's still great work from George singing, and he does the acoustic guitar and he does the organ in it too, so he still has plenty of presence on the song, and honestly I think it's a classic. Really, really good song. We heard Frampton do it live, and that was a fantastic version as well. But that wasn't in the date range, so I couldn't pick that. So I picked the original. The next song from one of my favorite early bands, UFO, from the album Phenomenon, I picked Rock Bottom. This is just one of the most rocking songs from the 70s, in my opinion. The soloing in the middle of this is just a masterclass in how to do a hard rock 70s song. It's like Michael Schenker on guitar is just... unstoppable. There's a reason why he has his own group. He's just a legend, and Phil Mogg's vocals are fantastic, and I just think the band is running on all cylinders on this song. So I had to give UFO the nod on this one. The next song from Journey, Stone in Love, off of the Escape album, second song on the album. Pretty stacked lineup on this album song wise, but this one has always caught my ear because it's so cheerful. And it just has that uplift that I really enjoy. And again, the guitar work from Neil Schon. Fantastic guitarist, underrated. We always talk about how great he is on this podcast. And honestly, I think he really came to play on this song specifically. But the album itself is fantastic. It has their most popular song, of course, Don't Stop Believin', and Open Arms. How many times you hear that at dances? I lost count. The next song, this is my audible for Deep Purple. Hopefully you guys know it. I decided to pick a song from Cheap Trick. This was originally on my list until BC submitted his, and then I took it off because he also has a Cheap Trick song. But I picked the song Clock Strikes 10 off of their In Color album. It starts off with the cool full hour chimes, the Rick Nielsen playing that on a guitar. It's really cool that he made the guitar sound like the chimes. And then it's just a fast-paced song and almost a kind of old-style rock and roll-ish type of song. Really fun vocals from Robin Zander, the franticness, but still keeping it fun. And it's just Cheap Trick is good at rock and roll songs, and they're good at just having earworms. I think that's they're fantastic. I love the version of this song from At Budokan. That's a great live album, by the way. I would check that out if you haven't. Next song from the band Golden Earring, Twilight Zone. I went with the long version, the almost 8-minute version, because that has the good build-up to it. It has the full choruses instead of just like the last part of it. And every time I listen to the single version, which is 5 minutes long, still pretty long, it just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like I'm missing something. The soloing at the end is really cool. Of course, William Shatner covered this for his Seeking Major Tom album back in 2011. But I prefer the original version. There's a really good scene in the show The Americans featuring this song, and it fits so well because the song is based on the Bourne Identity novel before the movie came out, written by Robert Ludlum. But it just has that, I love the lyric, where am I to go when I've gone too far? I just butchered the lyric, but, something along those lines. But
When the bullet hits the bone.
when the bullet hits the bone. And I love the at, like, I think it's after the second chorus that happens. But that bass line, the doom, 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 iconic. Twilight Zone, fantastic song. Next song from Toto. It's not Africa, though that I do like Africa. It's Hold the Line. Starts off with the jaunty piano. I'm a sucker for the jaunty piano, but this is just a powerhouse band full of session musicians that just came together and created some magic. Steve Lukather on guitar is fantastic, and Bobby Kimball, lead vocals, just has that soul to some of the lyrics. I can't really copy it, but they were going for sly, hot fun in the summertime groove, according to Jeff Porcaro, the drummer. And it's got some Sly and the Family Stone feel to it, but it's a great song. I think it's their second most popular song, I'd say. Maybe Rosanna, maybe third most popular.
It's
but
up there.
I think it's probably one of their most fun songs to sing along to. The next song, definitely a fun song to sing along to, from my boy Alice Cooper off the Welcome to My Nightmare album, Cold Ethel. Songs about falling in love with a corpse, but it's very chipper and cheerful.
There's anything
Just
wrong
sing
with
along
that.
with Cold Ethel.
Who would have thought?
And he dances on stage with a blow-up doll to this song. That's a lot of fun. But I love the dun 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 dun. It's that kind of countdown type of thing that I really enjoy. It's just a fun song. The guitar work on it's really cool. There's a good cover of it by Vince Neil. Did it. It's not too bad at all. He really does the vocals really well, but you gotta give a nod to Alice for the original version. And then my last song is also a cover. It's from Rainbow, covering Russ Ballard, Since You've Been Gone. It's not the Kelly Clarkson song, though that is also a good song. It's just an upbeat 70s song that it wouldn't be out of place on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
Graham Bonnet.
It feels completely different from the Dio era, the Blackmore era of Rainbow. It's just night and day with those bands. But I really enjoy this. It blew my mind when I found out that Rainbow did that. I was like, this isn't Rainbow. Are you Rainbow? Are you sure?
There's even a version of that on Hetty's Live.
Alcatraz does a version of it as well with
Yeah.
Malmsteen on guitar,
Yep.
as a matter of fact. A young Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yep.
And that goes to show. And it looks like Brian May also performed a cover of it that appeared live on the Brixton Academy. So
That's not a difficulty cure.
Out of this, no.
what? Since You've Gone?
No. It's Down to Earth.
Yeah,
Stuff
Down
Down
to
to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic song. Graham Bonnet really selling the vocals, and I love the harmonies in it too. And I'm a sucker for a key change, and it has a key change in it. So I had to give it up for this song. So that was my list, everybody. What'd you think?
All right, cool. What do you think, BB?
Yeah, very good list. It's like a big melting pot. You got from front to back. There's different things you got going on. Standouts for me, definitely Rock Bottom from UFO. Like Michael Schenker's only 19 years old when he's playing in this song, and some of these riffs that he's doing is just fantastic. Another one I really enjoyed was Stone in Love from Journey, because it's not, Don't Stop Believing, or it's not Faithfully. It's just Steve Perry screaming out his big perfect vocals.
Yeah.
Like you said, like Neil on the guitars, and just another fantastic job that he does in this song. And it's down in their catalog, but you know the song, you know what I mean? That was a great pick. And then definitely Hold the Line. The keyboard and the guitar work for me I'm just a sucker for. Bobby Kimball has that perfect late 70s, early 80s vocal sound to them. It just fits that era that they're releasing this music in. And like I said, definitely a great list.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed the list. And it's funny, like Stone in Love, I don't think people realize how great of a guitar album Journey Escape is.
Yeah, it really
That is an amazing, amazing guitar album. And Stone in Love is fantastic. And Dave, I'm sure you could appreciate the bass on that outro solo.
Yeah, we do this song.
Fucking
like,
crazy.
You know, we
yeah.
play this one, and it's just
it's fantastic.
Great one to play.
It's fantastic. Clock Strikes 10, I'll comment on that. That's really good. That was a good... one to throw in there. I like that. It's on, of course, it's on Cheap Trick Live of Budokan as well. Very cool. And what else here? The Chain. Lindsey Buckingham, like, you would not think he would rip it up like that. He tears it up at the end of that song.
He does.
And he's another guitar player that does not use a pick as well. He's just insane. Good list.
He also does
Good
not
list.
use great manners with his band.
No, I'm not a very nice guy, I guess. But
Lindsey Buckingham.
but coolest.
I'll pick up right with the Chain. We've done 4 or 5 of these songs on this list. That's what I was looking at. I said, this is awesome because Lindsey Buckingham and John McVie on the bass too. I mean, the vocals are killer. Everything is spot on. It's hard to do. Lindsey Buckingham's picking style is a whole category of guitar playing unto itself. It is.
I mean, listen to Never Going Back Again.
You're not kidding.
Like 12 guitars.
For something that's capo 4 and D,
Yeah.
it's a pain. It's very difficult. One way or another, Blondie too. Chris Stein, very underrated, I'm going to say, composer, putting stuff together. Just a great piece with that. When I was listening to Rock Bottom, I thought, man, I have to start getting more UFO into my life. I really do.
Yeah.
Because every time I listen to it, when I hear you guys and stuff, I have to get some more. I know Michael Scheicher played with Rudolph on, I think it was a Love Drive album, and he just did some great stuff there. Stone in Love, same thing. Neil Schon, and I think it's Ross Mallory is on bass on that album. They're firing on all cylinders on that. It's just a great piece of work, and it's surprisingly, because it isn't like BB said, it's not one of their number one ones, but boy, the people their ears perk up when the guitar riff comes in. It's just great. That whole album actually Escapes is just a great piece of work. Hold the Line too. Steve Lukather's solo in that tune is just killer, and that is almost Three Dog Night-esque with the vocals. It's just great, and even you see the live shows in the past couple of years, they're still hitting those. They're still hitting those vocals, which are great. And Since You've Been Gone, I actually had Street of Dreams typed up and was ready to hit send to Steve when your list came up, and I said, damn, he took my rainbow. But that's I like that era too because they are completely different bands.
Yeah.
From going from Dio to Graham Bonnet to Jolden Turner and so on. But great list. Very eclectic. Very. It's like a stew. It's like a stew.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Good list, Dylan. And according to the Raiders hat, I'm up next.
What a surprise.
Dave you picked my name out, right?
Yes.
You did. So there you go. All right, my list. I was mulling over my list when I was watching the David Z Memorial kind of telethon thing they had going on, and they were playing different cover songs of stuff like that. A bunch of guys they were playing different bands doing stuff on like doing different cover songs and stuff like that on this thing, and some guys got up and they did listen to the music from the Doobie Brothers. Fucking love that song. It's I'm gonna call this is my feel good song of my list, and I always like this song. This is a song that like I don't hear a lot. I don't like listen to Doobie Brothers. I don't even own a Doobie Brothers album, but and actually I had to put it on my Apple Music when I decided I wanted to pick this song. It's just a good song. The guitars in it, the vocals, the harmonies, just a great classic rock song. Absolutely love it. Then I dug into a little Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks, Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Great duet from and it's weird because like you wouldn't think that their vocals would mix together, but it fits. And actually, there is video out there of me and my sister singing this karaoke from last year.
Very drunk.
Very hammered. Very terrible. But it's just a great song. And I think it's on Stevie Nicks' Belladonna album. Just really good like duet there. Then I decided I needed to rock it up a little bit. I did a little Ted Nugent, just what the doctor ordered from his debut album, I believe it's on. I think. Just a fantastic that down, and you could tell he's playing that big Gibson guitar that he likes, and he gets that cool feedback on it. Don't know the meaning of quit. Just a great song. Derek St. Holmes on vocals on that, just great vocals, and just a really cool song. And actually, in this next song, I kind of looked into this a little bit more today, and I was actually surprised at what I found. I picked the Breakup song by the Greg Kihn Band. Actually, the guy that co-wrote this and is the bass player for him, his name is Steve Wright. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. Totally picked the song by happenstance. Great song. They don't write them like that anymore. Yeah, you got a kick-ass fucking name too. But like, apparently they were in a Japanese sushi place or one hibachi place and having dinner, and they were playing some song on the jukebox or whatever, and the drunk guy sitting at the table goes, "Boy, they don't write them like that anymore." And he's like, "That's a fucking great line for a song." And so they started to write the song, and how we got the uhs was he didn't have lyrics finished for the song, and when they were recording it, they were just doing a scat vocal. They did the part of the verse, and then he just did that at the end. And when they got in, they're like, "That was fucking brilliant," and they loved it. They kept it because it wasn't even supposed to be part of the song. It was just like an ad lib kind of thing. So just another cool song. And this is a song. This next one is like one of the ultimate earworm songs ever. My Sharona by the Knack. It seems like such a simple song, but it's so cool. It's just like, it's one of them songs. And can anyone name? I mean, Dave probably can. Can anyone name another song by the Knack?
Good Girls Don't.
Good Girls Don't name a song from them?
Good Girls Don't. No, I think that was the other.
Yeah, I cannot name
one.
another song by these guys. I think they would make the VH1 one-hit wonders. Remember they used to do those shows?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Next one, Loverboy. The Kid Is Hot Tonight. Absolutely love this song. Another great band that has an extremely underrated guitar player, Paul Dean. Fantastic. This is from their debut album. Just a great song. The chorus is great. Just a really, really cool song. Absolutely love it. And this is probably my surprise pick. Dylan was probably surprised that I picked this one.
I was.
I don't know why I like this song. It's I don't know. I think it's rather stupid, but I really like it.
Stop it.
I picked "Let's Dance" by David Bowie. Put on your red shoes, BB, and dance the blues, bitch. I just like that song. I don't know why I like that. I like China Girl from that. I mean, it's one of them albums that I just, I'm not a David Bowie fan, as we found out when we did the album that Dylan picked that time.
City Stardust.
But I like that. I like the 80s pops, but I also like the Tin Machine stuff too. That was cool. So I enjoyed that. And next song I picked was the band that BB was delving into on his What Are You Listening To? REO Speedwagon from the High Infidelity album, Follow My Heart. Kick-ass song. That is another album that is in the same vein for me as Journey Escape. Such a great guitar album. The vocals are great. The production is fantastic. He has that squealing guitar soloing in it. Just absolutely fantastic song. One of my all-time favorite song. I mean, probably my favorite song from REO Speedwagon. But like out of classic rock stuff, that's one I could never skip. Fantastic album. That may be a desert island album for me. That High Infidelity, fucking fantastic. I remember when that came out. I wore that bitch out when that came out, and now I have the next one is probably one of the greatest songs ever captured live. I don't know how live it is. In the 70s they did it. Like Kiss Alive, they all say all that shit. But Peter Frampton, Do You Feel Like We Do? Like 13 minutes long. You got the talk box solo in it. You got but like even if you just listen to the song proper before it gets into the extended part of it, listen to the solo in that song. He fucking rips it up. I mean, just kicks it right in the ass. Bob Mayo on the keyboards. Bob Mayo. But just fantastic. Just a great, great song. I love the talk box. I love and then when it comes at the end, well, and then boom, it kicks back in. Fantastic. And the solo at the end there is just kick-ass. Frampton still can bring it. Fantastic. And then I wrap it up with Foreigner, Blue Morning, Blue Day from the Double Vision album. Just a great song. you can't beat Foreigner in the 70s either. They're like BB, that was one of the ones you mentioned in the beginning there. Just a great band, fantastic debut album. They follow it up with this album. Just Blue Morning, Blue Day. Fantastic. Love it. All right. BB.
Yes, very cool list. Definitely a rockin' list. Definitely standouts for me. You have to put out Uncle Ted and Just What the Doctor Ordered. It's just such a cool rocking guitar, drum, keyboard opening, how they get in the groove as a band. And Derek St. Holmes, vocals, fantastic. I love the Derek St. Holmes parts of Ted. You know, I really miss those early albums before he left. I love when he sings. And of course, you know, when Uncle Ted's playing a solo, you know, you can't beat it. Another one I really, really enjoyed was the Loverboy song, The Kid Is Hot Tonight. The keyboards in this song are so faint, but they are so good, and they really caught my ear.
That song's about you.
Well, that is true. You know. And like you said, like Loverboy's one of those bands that, like, you hear their song, you're like, who is this? Oh, like Loverboy has like those 5-6 songs that they're almost all forgotten. Like they never really got out there, or like maybe if they did, people kind of forgot about Loverboy. But what a great band, what a great song, a great pick on that one. And of course, I have to pick the REO Speedwagon, Follow My Heart. The harmonies in this band are so fantastic, and that short solo is so crazy, and the outro solo is sickening. Like, this was the song that I'm like, I gotta get into these guys. I have to look back into the catalog. But yeah, definitely a great list, and thanks for reminding me of that REO Speedwagon show. Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
All right, I'll kick with the Doobie Brothers. I think it's Tom Johnston that sings. It's not Michael McDonald. He's guitar and vocals on that. Man, they have a couple guys that are singing back and forth there, and his voice is just fantastic on that. I think it was.
It's such a clean vocal on it.
Absolutely. Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks too. Stop Dragging My Heart. People love that song. Just that back and forth banter with the two very distinct style of voices that she has and that he has. Is great. The Knack My Sharona, that's another one. Usually before a job, it's an easy riff to play. You know, it's hey, do you play that song?
No.
You know,
We're just warming up with it.
We did once, but I'm saying that I think it's Burton Avere is the guitar, but that's a hard solo, man.
Is it really?
Give it a listen. He does a lot of great stuff in it. It's very good. Loverboy. One thing about Loverboy, probably getting back on BB's point, they're Canadian too. You know, Canadian bands always get dissed. Brian Adams does. Rush did. They don't get the respect that the American bands get, or at least the opportunity. True. But one thing about The Kid Is Hot Tonight, what it proves is, you know, you Get Lucky is a great thing, but Mike Reno can sing. You know, he can bring it. Follow My Heart, we already said. High Infidelity, that's the guitar playing on the entire career. I think he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away, yeah.
But he doesn't get enough credit. And those backups are killer. I mean, everybody wanted to play that album when it came out. Tough Guys, and it was just a great...
Follow Your Heart.
Oh, my God. In Your Letter. It was just a great album. Wonderful. What could you say about Peter Frampton? I mean, that's... and you would have thought after that album, the Talk Box, everybody would have gone and bought one. And everybody would have been... But he didn't. Because there's one master, and it's Peter Frampton. You know, really. And Foreigner, what could you say? Mick Jones and Lou Gramm. What a great writing and music pair those guys are in the 70s. They were top notch all the way through. Great list.
All right, Dylan.
I'll start off with my personal favorite from the list, Let's Dance from Bowie. Again, this is another song that I think the longer version's better. The single version's 4 minutes long, and the album version is 7 minutes and 37 seconds. And I think I know exactly why you like this album, Dad. It's the guitarist on the album, Stevie Ray Vaughan. He plays the soloing on Let's Dance.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was right before he did his Texas Flood album.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He saw him playing with Double Trouble and was like, that's a great guitarist. I wanna have him on my album. So he had Stevie Ray Vaughan play the guitar on the album.
That's cool.
Fantastic song. Soloing's great on it. I love Bowie's delivery. The put on the red shoes and dance and under the moonlight, the mysterious moonlight. Like, only Bowie could have a delivery like that and sell it. The man's a legend. I love David Bowie so much. Speaking of people I love, Peter Frampton. Do you feel like we do? This is. I agree with you. I think this is one of the best live songs of all time. It just has so many different elements to it. The slow part in the middle, little keyboard part, the talk box, the amazing solos that bookend the part, and it's just mind-blowing how good at guitar he is and how good today he still is. Another song that I want to spotlight, Blue Morning, Blue Day. Probably my favorite Foreigner popular song. It's just got that nice guitar punctuated by the keyboards that just make it pop, that riff. It just instantly recognizable. And Foreigner is a band that writes recognizable, instantly just earworm songs. I think you're right in that they're like very good at late 70s, early 80s. They just ruled that time, and they have so many hits. It's just so funny because you could hear Foreigner on the radio and you could probably hear 10 different songs before you hear a repeat, because there's just so many good Foreigner songs that are popular. And then the last one I want to spotlight is My Sharona, The Knack. I love that I forgot how cool the middle part was, because you just remember the earworm riff, the simple cool start riff, but that middle part is
you have
so
to listen to the album cut, not the radio one.
Like that middle part is so cool. I love it so much. It showcases how deceptively simple, but then secretly kind of complex song it is that I really enjoyed. So it was a really good list. I really enjoyed it.
All right, cool. All right, so that's my list and Dylan's list. So I'm going to read BC's list. He didn't give me any notes for it because he actually is working tonight. We have a crazy work scheduled this week at the firehouse, so he couldn't. He's actually working right now. So his list is Led Zeppelin, How Many More Times? Foreigner. He had Dirty White Boy, but he took that off of there. I think he put Double Vision in.
Yeah, I think he replaced it with Double Vision.
He has Eagles, Desperado, Foghat, I Just Want to Make Love to You, Joe Walsh, Life's Been Good, Aerosmith, Sweet Emotions, Rod Stewart, Maggie May, Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Cheap Trick, I Want You to Want Me, and REO Speedwagon, Golden Country. So, Dave, what do you think about BC's list?
I love it. It's very nice. Again, it's all over the place. It's got some. I'm glad to see a nice slow song in there, being that I've got one myself in the list. Desperado is just, that's, the Eagles are always fired on all the cylinders, though. Another Foreigner kick in the mix there, right? Oh no, he took that out.
No, he put in Double Vision.
Okay. Again, what could you say about Foreigner in the late 70s? Then they top it off with number 4 in 82 or 83, I think it was, but. Aerosmith, Sweet Emotion. That's if you look at some lists, Rolling Stone lists, and that they have Sweet Emotion as one of the greatest rock songs of all time.
I like it, but I don't think
it's a good song.
I don't think it's in my top 50.
But it was one of those songs that when it came on the radio, you think this doesn't deserve airplay, and then it kicks into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, but it's riff. Not of all time. I don't think.
I thought I was looking around. I thought, hey, Joe Walsh, Life's Been Good. That was a classic. Sophomore year in high school kind of thing. Everybody loved Rocky Mountain Way and Life's Been Good. They're great pieces. What could you say about Joe Walsh's slide playing and just a great piece of work. Fat Bottom Girls. What could you say about Queen's harmonies all the way through? Great song. Brian May on the guitar. When that guitar comes in, you always know it's him because that's his self-designed guitar and self-designed everything, and it's once that riff comes in and you know it's Queen. I Want You to Want Me, that's a classic. I'm surprised it hasn't made anybody else's list before. That's just
no, I know. Well, Dylan picked some less cool Queen song last time we did this one.
Hey, they were both on the same live album.
But I Want You to Want Me, that's again another classic. Golden Country I had not heard before until I listened to it when I saw the list, and once again, it just goes back to that 70s. Maybe because a lot of the REO Speedwagon songs are that 4.5 minutes to 6.5 minutes long, that they didn't get the airplay that they deserved. Mm-hmm. And maybe they got it together, from anything that they were doing in the 70s. They were a little longer than what you probably hear on the radio, that they would, they wanted 2.5 to 3.5 minutes, or you weren't seeing the radio. But very nice list. Very good list.
Well, I'm glad I'm in the same boat, because when I heard Golden Country, I never heard of that either. But it's just a cool, that organ start, and so many different time changes in it. The once again, the solo in it is amazing. You know, that's just a great pick for BC. And then probably my other two, and they pretty much fall in the Fat Bottom Girl. They fall in the same, you know, spot. Double Vision and Fat Bottom Girls. You got the great harmonies in both bands. You got great guitar work in both bands. You know, it's just a definitely a classic list that he put together, and BC gets a minus.
A minus? Okay. We'll see what the minus part's going to be later on. What do you got, Dylan?
I'm going to third and say this was the first time I heard Golden Country from Mario Speedwagon. I'm listening to it, and I listen to the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is kind of a slow start. And then it picks up, and I go, holy fuck, this is a really good song. It blew me away. I was so surprised at how just heavy that
It's
that
1972
solo
this
goes.
came out. 1972 that song came out.
I was not expecting it at all, and I think that's what made it land so hard for me, because it just some of the guitar work on all these songs we're talking about tonight are phenomenal, and you don't hear anybody talk about Golden Country. It doesn't even have its own Wikipedia page. It's a random track on one of their albums, but fantastic pick from BC. I'm gonna say Rod Stewart, Maggie May might be a controversial pick. I love the mandolin in it. Fun fact, Ray Jackson played the mandolin, but Rod Stewart in the album liner notes credited the mandolin player as the mandolin was played by the mandolin player in Lindisfarne. The name slips my mind. So he didn't even get credited on the album, which kind of sucks. But I don't know. It just has that good feel to it, even though it's about, you know, kind of a Mrs. Robinson situation where the guy is going for an older woman and it doesn't really work out as well as he wants it to, or as well as they want it to. But I like Rod Stewart's great. I like Rod Stewart. And Cheap Trick, you know, the I want you to want me. Iconic. That's what blew them up. And it's great to hear the crowd at Budokan so into this song that was just on the album that came out, that they know it and really love it even before it was a hit. Really cool to hear. And then the last song, Queen, Fat Bottom Girls. I always have to give it up to Queen. They're one of my favorite bands. Brian May's guitar work is fantastic. I love Freddie Mercury's vocals. He's selling it. Plus the harmonies in the chorus. Queen does harmonies like no other band. Just fantastic stuff. It was a really good list from BC.
All right, cool. Yeah. I like BC's for the most part. Led Zeppelin, how many more times? Like, fuck, he picked another fucking almost 10-minute long song. God damn it, BC. It is good though. I do like that. I do enjoy that song. Like, Life's Been Good from Joe Walsh. It's so, the beginning of that is so convoluted that don't. But it seems like the guitar and the drums in the beginning, it seem like it's like they're trying to play two different songs. And then when it kicks in, it's cool. But I listened to that today and said, doesn't this song have a weird beginning? She's like, yeah, it kind of sounds like they're doing different things. I'm like, yeah, but it is good. It's one of the highlight songs, I think, on the Eagles Live. I love that they put the Joe Walsh stuff on that album. Just a cool one. What else we got here? The REO Speedwagon. I got to touch on that too. Golden Country, fantastic. Like I said, like this literally came out in 1972. Kick-ass song. You guys out there, it's going to be on our Spotify playlist at the end. If you listen to one song on this, I mean, listen to them all, but like, check this song out. It is fucking fantastic. Aerosmith, Sweet Emotion, it's good. It's there. But I love me some Foghat, though. I just want to make love to you. Like, 1,800 bands do the cover of this song, but love Foghat. Fantastic. One of my favorite bands from the 70s. You cannot go wrong with them. So there's everybody went, right? So I don't...
Yep.
Okay, good. See? All right. I'm semi-paying attention. So, all right, so there's Dylan's list, my list, and BC's list. So before we take a little break and get into our hidden gems, I'm going to pick the gem song this week. And I was kind of back and forth to what I wanted to pick. So I wanted to pick some classic rockers, kind of a tie-in thing here. So I picked Damn Yankees. You have Ted Nugent from who, BB?
Let me think.
Amboy Dukes.
There you go.
Oh,
Boy
okay.
Dukes. Okay. Ooh, good, Dylan.
I thought we were going to go Buffalo Springfield.
You got Tommy Shaw from You got Tommy Shaw from BB's favorite band Styx. You got
Jack Blades.
You got Jack Blades from Night Ranger. You have Michael
Corleone
on drums. Just a great band. And the song I picked is from their album Don't Tread from 1992, their second album. It's the second album, second track on the album. It's called 15 Minutes of Fame, and play it away, Dylan. All right, welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed some Damn Yankees out there. A little 15 minutes of fame. And so we'll get into our hidden gems now. And Dylan will go first today.
Okay. I was perusing Apple
These
Music
are game time decisions for me.
as I do, and discovered a cool thrash band called Onslaught. They just came out with an awesome album called Generation Antichrist. Really cool thrash. They sound very Testament-ish. Very cool. Good, hard music. I mean, it's thrash, so what more can you say? It's great. It's good stuff.
Cool.
I'm gonna go off the board here. We're gonna go a little. I'm gonna go with Radiohead. OK Computer. I was torn between a couple things, but I really think if you're a fan of music, especially some easy listening, if you're into Pink Floyd-ish, if you're into progressive rock, these guys don't do anything wrong. My advice is always, I tell people, you have to listen to it from first song to last song. Tom York and the Greenwood Boys, they are killer. I've said it before. It's an alternative masterpiece from Airbag. I mean, you have your radio ones that has your MTV airplay at the time, Paranoid Android, and even Let Down and Karma Police and stuff. But from that to the Tourist at the end, it's just a great piece of work. And I'm telling you, Steve, you will be pleasantly
It's
surprised.
fantastic.
We have a phrase for that here, Dave. It's called out of format.
I used to.
Did I stay along with Tool?
I'll tell you, you did not. You
See?
did not. You did
See?
not. I will try. You know what? I'll tell you, I try it like I tried Tool. It'll take me 2 years from now to actually check them out, but I will at
But
some
listen
point.
to it from start to
Yeah, at
finish.
some
It's a great piece of work.
And it's weird too. There are some albums that, like, if you pick songs off, you're like, but the whole album experience sometimes is the way to go.
But for a '90s band, they weren't grungy. I mean, they did everybody.
Thank God.
Everybody, puts them with Creep, and they don't play it live. It's like they're sober by Tool. They don't play it live. They're a little more in depth than that. They're a great band. He's a great songwriter. They do great studio things together, and it's just genius.
They
It
don't-
really
I
is.
promise I'll check that out at least 2 years from now.
They don't rest on their.
I put that in my calendar right now.
They don't rest on their laurels. I used to play songs from that album. So many times on my
2022,
radio shift.
August.
Yeah.
2022 August. Hey, how was Radiohead?
Oh, I forgot.
All right, go ahead, BB. What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna stay in the same little genre here. It's definitely not Peter Frampton, but I'm going back to 1976 with Live Bullet from Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
Nice.
And this is where they get the Turn the Page song. Every time you hear it, all over the place. This is the album they get it off of. But they do a couple other great songs on this album. They do Beautiful Loser. Travelin' Man is fucking amazing. Just a great live album to give you that 70s, in between like the groove and the rock. It gives you a little bit of both in there. But really, really great album. One of those probably top 10 70s live albums. 15. It's probably in there between 10 and 15.
Top 50.
Let's say 15.
There's a lot of good '70s live ones,
I
but
know,
that's
but
Bob
that-
Seger's
that's
another guy
good.
that gets no.
That is decent.
Another
I
band that gets
Yep.
doesn't get the recognition.
I just hate old time rock and roll. I want to
Well,
run into
that's not on there.
It's
I
not
want to
even
run
on-
into
It's
traffic.
not even on there. How about that?
I don't think it was out yet.
No. Neither
I don't
was
think it was
Night.
out by
Risky
then.
Business.
neither
come
one.
out.
Yeah,
Come
Risky
out for
Business. Yeah, that was in the 80s.
81
Yeah.
or 82
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I hate that.
So you'll
I
enjoy
seriously
it.
want to
Neither
run into
was,
fucking
neither
traffic
was
when I hear
Hollywood
that.
Nights.
Yeah.
So Old Time Rock
Hollywood
and Roll
Nights is
was
good, though.
Old Time Rock and Roll was 78.
78.
He was on the
Oh,
same
really?
album as Hollywood Nights.
Oh.
Stranger in Town.
Hollywood Nights, I like.
All right.
That's cool. All right, cool. I am going out of the 70s for my pick. And actually, my good friend Stephen Michael introduced me to this band. He told me check these guys out. They're called The Order. The album is called 1986. It came out in 2012. It does have that hard rock feel. BB, it reminds me of Roxy Blue.
No way.
It reminds me of. It has.
Okay.
I don't
like
know
it.
if it's just the vibe of it, but it does remind me somewhat of Roxy Blue. The opening song is "Power of Love," not the Huey Lewis one, by the way.
Oh.
Don't need
But
money.
there's and actually I was gonna pick the song on here for my gem song. It's called "Generation White Line." Fucking fantastic. I was cutting the grass today, and the song came on, and I had to shut the lawnmower off so I could check my phone to see what song, make sure to see what song it was.
So
very cool album.
You told your lawnmower, you guys are just too darn loud.
I did. Well, I just had to stop so I could look at my phone to see what it was. But so there's our hidden gems. We have The Order, the band The Order. The album is 1986 from me. We have Bob Seger Live Bullet from BB. We have the band Onslaught from Dylan. A little thrash action there. We have Radiohead OK Computer from Dave, which I promise within 2 years I will check that
It's
bad
so
boy
good.
out.
It's so good.
And actually, I want to say our buddies at the Ridiculous Rock Record Review podcast did that album.
That sounds right.
I want to say they did that. So maybe I'll have to revisit that, and then maybe I'll listen to the album
Not a bad song for
within
90
2
for
years,
90s
and then I'll go
act,
back and
though.
listen to their episode and see if I agree or not.
They could have rested on their laurels with Creep because Pablo Honey.
Pablo Honey's a great
And then they just went, okay, we're doing something different.
Oh, okay. All right. One of these days, I'll check them out. All right. So let's get back into our lists, and I think Dave is up next.
Woohoo! Okay, mine are, I guess, a little more, I want to say commercially, I guess, as I was thinking and looking at everybody else's list. But anywho, I'm going to start with my first song, Dust in the Wind, off of the 77 Point of No Return. Just a great, the song starts out as Kerry Livgren, who's no longer in the band. He leaves in, I believe, 79 or 80. As he's getting into Christian rock, he becomes a born-again Christian along with Smokin' Dave Hope, who leaves the band as well. But the song starts out as it's one of his finger-picking exercises that he's playing around the house. And his wife loves it and says, that's a very nice melody. You should come in and kick that in. So he brings the melody, comes down with the lyrics, and pens a song for the ages. And that's what it is. There's a couple biblical references in here from Genesis to Ecclesiastes. There's some Native American poetry. That's where the dust in the wind, all we are is dust in the wind comes from. But really, Livgren on guitar, Rich Williams, because it is a 2-guitar tune. Robbie Steinhardt on that violin, and Steve Walsh once again. It's just killer. My number 2, it may even be cliche again, but Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. It's, always out of context. You hear it you always have to hear it in context of The Wall, but it's just, Waters' vocals and lyrics and Gilmour's masterpiece. I know they fought tooth and nail on this if you read any of the autobiographies, and they took pieces of different solos that Gilmour was getting in so they could finally agree on something. But it's just that dynamic is just absolutely just, that second solo is just, both of them are beautiful. That guitar tone, but that second solo is just unbelievable. Classic Fender Marshall, it's a beautiful thing. My third song, Black Dog, off of Led Zeppelin's fourth studio album, which becomes Led Zeppelin 4. No title to it, right? Again, what a great song to start out an album with. That calm response between Robert Plant and the rest of the band. That great riff. I believe John Paul Jones gets credit for the riff on that bass. The bassist does. As far as coming up with it, and as far as Led Zeppelin songs that always have, where the titles have nothing. It was just when they were recording at Headley Studios, I believe it was, there was just this black golden retriever or a black lab running around, and they ended up feeding it where they were recording, and that's where the name of the tune comes from. Black Dog. That's it. Number 4 off of the 70s Closer to Home album, I'm Your Captain. I'm going to say I'm Your Captain / Closer to Home. It's not very the album's Closer to Home. If you just can stick with I'm Your Captain, it's a 6-minute song. You go Closer to Home, it's a little over 10. I think it's maybe 10 on the nose. But again, for another 3-piece band, you've got Mark Farner on the vocals, Mel Shocker on the bass, and Don Brewer, that steady drum beat. That bass line in that tune is just killer. Just killer stuff. It's a great Around the Fire song. One of my faves. Number 5, Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings off the 74 self-titled album, if you will. Very weird. So there's a lot of weird stuff around this. A couple of the guys that were in the band at that time didn't come. They ended up recording that in Nigeria. And Paul and Linda apparently get held up at knife point, and they get their demos stolen from them in there, and I guess the guys just, I don't know what they did with them, but he had to go back and rewrite it. But it's really Paul McCartney, it's Paul, Linda, and I can't think of who it is here. Oh, it's Denny Lane, yeah. So the 3 of them make that album. Paul McCartney plays drums, he's on keys, he's doing bass, he's doing acoustic, he's doing everything. That's how he was working even on the White Album.
Yeah.
Ringo was getting a pool put in, so that Paul McCartney is drumming on that album.
Yeah.
He just getting it done. But it's it's got those 3 separate movements in there, how it starts off nice and easy, and then you got the build, and then to the acoustic. It just covers a lot of dynamics musically, that medley from, you can call it from funk to folk to funk, I guess, from the beginning. Great tune. Number 6 for me, 78's Van Halen self-titled album, Feel Your Love Tonight. I don't know. You read the Rolling Stone review on this from the, they say this album, even though it's a great album for us, critically it wasn't. They didn't think much of it, that the songwriting wasn't good, or it's just okay. But this song for me is it's a great piece of work. The backups are great. Eddie's guitar is always great, and his riffs are good. But even like in that solo, there's just enough of that second guitar that's backing up. That's just Michael Anthony on the bass that's carrying those backups while he's doing that solo. Just enough, and Michael Anthony and Eddie's backups. It's just a great fun song for me. Are there better songs on there? Not for me. There's Running with the Devil, which is always a killer off that one. There's even Eruption. You Really Got Me, but this one for me has always been a great one. Number 7, Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult. I had to get a Blue Oyster Cult and I give them some off of 76 Agents of Fortune. Buck Dharma, again, guitar-wise, singing-wise, vocal-wise, writing-wise. Again, it was a picture of death for him. You certainly can't forget, I believe it's Albert Bouchard on the cowbell on that album as it goes. And it has that great opening riff that I think it's I'm going to say it's a 1-7-5-4 progression. It's a very funky thing in A minor. It's just great. Number 8, Funk 49 by the James Gang. What can I say about the James Gang other than Midnight Man? Midnight Man's a great tune by them, but just a great, super fun song. Classic stuff. Classic when Joe Walsh was really performing top notch with, again, another really 3-piece band here. The Cars, Just What I Needed, 1978's album. I think it's Benjamin Orr's on leads for this. Again, another that whole album is just perfect. But and I wasn't the synthesizer guy, but that album turned me. I was okay with it after you heard that album. From Let the Good Times Roll to Moving in Stereo, because you didn't hear too much of it in the rock and roll that I was listening to as a kid, and that was a good piece. My last one is Rick Derringer, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. This is off of his self-titled album that he does now. He had played with the Winter Brothers, Johnny and Edgar, and I think they had recorded this, but he released it as a solo himself, being that I think it's All-American Boy that it was on, but he had recorded it in 70. He releases it in 73, and it becomes a big hit for him because he got the songwriting credits. It was his only big solo hit, but good enough for me. A lot of fun to play. It used to be. So that is my list.
All right, cool. BB, what do you think?
Very cool list there, Dr. Dave. Highlights for me, Black Dog. Since I have 2 black dogs, I have to pick Black Dog. John Bonham. That every time I hear that song, and it's funny how like the title's nowhere in the lyrics, but Bonham's playing on that fucking song is so fucking sick. It's unbelievable. Love that song. How about Funk 49 from James Gang? Haven't heard this song in a long time. Such a groovy tune, nice little toe tapper. Definitely showcases how Joe Walsh's guitar playing is fantastic, and definitely Rick Derringer's Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. The background vocals at the chorus are so cool, and when you're talking 70s soloing, Rick Derringer's right up there, probably top 20 guys. But the solo in this is so good. But a fantastic front to back, and of course the Van Halen song. But definitely a very good rocking classic list.
Yep. I have to start off with Comfortably Numb. David Gilmour's guitar playing is just unmatched. It has that, I can't even put the word to it, but that darkness of the song. It shows how dire the character is that the song is about, and just like how he has to like get drugged to go up on stage, and it's a really powerfit's song. That
comes out from Roger Waters getting a shot in the arm because he was down played in Philly of all places.
I love that, like, there'll be no more, like it's just like it has a nice picture of a terrible situation, but God, it's such a good song. Then I have to go Band on the Run. I love Paul McCartney. Probably my favorite solo Beatle, just because he came out with really good stuff after. But Band on the Run is such a cool song. I love the different parts to it. It showcases a couple different sides to it, and it has a fun element to it, despite being held at knife point. And then Don't Fear the Reaper. I love Blue Oyster Cult. This song, you can't not think of SNL, but also Halloween, because it's playing in the car while they're driving down the road. Harbinger of Michael Myers coming after them. But I love the middle part where it starts with the do 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 do, and it just goes into this wild. It sounds like it's a different song, but it still fits. I really like that kind of breakdown in the middle of the song that's really different. But this is a really good list, and just what I need is probably my other one that I want to spotlight, because that album is phenomenal. Just there's no bad thing on it, and like you said, the synthesizers on it are just iconic sounding. That's like, to me, the hearkening of the new wave kind of sound. It starts with the Cars, but great list, really good list. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start with Dave's comments about Rolling Stone on Van Halen. That shows you how fucking stupid Rolling Stone is, still to this day. Feel Your Love Tonight's fantastic. And when we did Vanuary back in January, I always said, Dave, I said that Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen, they are a fucking amazing power trio with the awesome David Lee Roth singing with them. I mean, when you hear that first album, and we talked about that a lot between Van Halen 1 and Van Halen 2, before they got into the later albums where they were overdubbing stuff, like those songs when Eddie's soloing, it's Michael and it's Alex, and they're just locked in and absolutely fantastic. I would, if you said any song from Van Halen 1 or Van Halen 2, with the exception of Women in Love, I would be all over that shit. Fantastic. Comfortably Numb. Oh my God, like the guitar playing in that. I remember when Free Fall used to play down at Confetti's. They used to do that. And they did it fantastic. I remember they just were so excellent. They did a great version of that. And if you ever watched the Pink Floyd, the Pulse video, when they do Comfortably Numb at the end of that, they have this big thing comes down in the middle of the crowd and it opens up like this big fucking flower or some goddamn thing. And when I'm soloing, it takes your breath away. I can only imagine being at that show when he's playing that solo and this shit's going on. Just absolutely amazing. David Gilmour, I mean, and we hardly ever talk about Pink Floyd on this show. This is probably not the first time, but phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Just a kick-ass solo. Absolutely fucking love that. Cars don't, just what I needed. And you were totally right about the synthesizer, because back then you weren't listening to a lot of stuff that was a lot of synthesizer heavy stuff. And them and Styx are really the only ones that I could think of that I liked the albums from that era.
They had it because Kansas had it, and even Journey had keys in them and stuff like that, but not that synthesizer sound. And in '78 it was kind of a little goofy. I think it was '78, but when I heard that, I remember hearing Good Times Roll for the first time.
But it wasn't overdone either.
No,
you know what I mean? It was just enough to accent this. It served the song. It was just what I needed, for sure. And I'm just going to say real quick, Dust in the Wind, you're my boy, Blue. I can't believe no one else fucking said that.
I always think of that, and I always think of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where he's talking with Socrates.
Yeah.
All we are is dust in the wind.
But really good song, and once again, I will thank Dave for getting me into Kansas. So very, very cool list. And BB, I think and this is unusual, because usually when we draw randomly of our scientific method out of BB's Raiders hat, he is, I don't think you've ever been last when we picked out of the hat, ever. But you are tonight.
A lot of stress here.
Pressure.
There's a lot of pressure being last.
No pressure.
All right, my list is like a pizza. It's like a supreme pizza. You got your meat and your cheese. Some people like anchovies. Some people hate anchovies, and pineapple. Some people hate pineapple. So I went classic, but I went all over the place. And of course, one of the big '70s bands, I have to start off with Foreigner, off their debut album from 1977, Head Knocker. Lou Gramm and Mick Jones. Fantastic. They're like the peanut butter and jelly of the 70s, and almost like how Dylan's Journey song was like a deeper pick. This is definitely one of Foreigner's forgotten songs. It's just a rocking tune, fantastic, groove to it, and right off their self-titled album, so you actually knew what you're going to get for the next couple of years, off that album. Song number 2, I'm sure Steve will love this one. Off of The Darkness and the Edge of Town from Bruce Springsteen, 1978. Adam Raised the Cane. I wanted to pick this one. It's classic. The guitar work that starts off this song is so cool. Bruce is he's got this rusty vocal to him that he has. But I always love this song just for that opening riff. It always really grabbed me. And every once in a while when I put this on, I wish that we could have picked that the one from he has a live album, but I think it came out 84, and they call it 75 to 84 or something like that. But
fun fact, my English teacher, and I believe yours as well, Mrs. Missouri, has a poster of that album. Well, had a poster of that album in her classroom.
And the live song of this is fantastic, but I didn't want to break the rules. But anyway, this is Springsteen, early 78. He was humongous back then. Definitely an influence for a lot of bands. Definitely classic rock to me. Song number 3 from the Eagles off their Eagles live album from 1988, Seven Bridges Road.
You broke the rules there. You didn't want to break it with Springsteen.
How did I break it?
You said 1988.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, how about 1980?
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right.
Seven Bridges Road. Such a great acoustic or a cappella, however you want to call it, song. Just those guys sitting there. This used to be their warm-up song, and this is the only reason why this actually got out on an album, because it's on the live album. Somebody said, you should really do this on a live album. They would, before they go out on stage, they sit in the shower. All of them just sit around and just sing this song just to get their vocals going. Blows my mind. Just a fantastic song. Song number 4, Cross-Eyed Mary, for Jethro Tull off the 1971 Ultralung album. It's just one of those band that Aqualung, just one of those crazy songs that I think it kind of shows the time of 71. He's stuck in between the 69 hippie stuff, rock stuff, and if he's going to introduce a flute to any type of soloing, I think it's kind of cool. And it's funny, a couple days ago I was washing the dishes and I had the playlist that Dylan was so graciously able to put together for us, and this song came on and my wife goes, "What the hell is this crap that you are listening to?"
That's why I love his wife.
I'm like, "That's on my list." It's like, "What list?" I'm like, "Never mind."
Right.
I'm like, "You don't like it?" She goes, "No." I'm like, "Oh, I think it's kind of cool. It's different." It's 71. It's a flute. It's
the skin flute that he's playing.
Classic. It's classic Jethro Tull.
Did you play the Iron Maiden version for her? Just to
balance it out?
Yeah.
Nah. But yeah, I always enjoyed the Jethro Tull Cross-Eyed Mary. I thought it was kind of cool.
The Iron Maiden version, then.
Yeah, I said the Iron Maiden.
I thought you said Black Sabbath.
No, I said Iron Maiden.
Oh, did
Iron
you?
Maiden.
Oh, okay.
Glad to see you're listening.
Boy, oh boy. Song number 5 from Bad Company off their debut album 1974, Rock Steady. I have to bring it back up here. Straightforward rocking song right out of the gate. Paul Rodgers' vocals are amazing on this song. He's so recognizable. He's almost like Lou Graham here. You hear Paul Rodgers' vocals, 70s, it's Bad Company. The drums in this song are so out front. Really, really great song. And it's another one of those kind of, it teeters, probably lower 5 to 10 on their scale of songs. Song number 6, Ride Like the Wind. It's off the Christopher Cross album, self-titled, 1979. This is one of those songs that brings me back to the last episode that we had. This song was so humongous, I guess, back in 1980. It won Band of the Year and Song of the Year and Album of the Year and all. It was all over my cousin's house, and I can remember just listening to this album, seeing the flamingo on the thing. It just is another toe tapper. I love it. The drums and keyboard are so cool. The outro solo is amazing. And you got Michael McDonald singing background on it. Even though he only has a couple, he only sings such a long way to go. It's just so cool to hear, Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers kind of background vocal on that. So I had to throw that out there to add to the influence episode from last week. Song number 7 from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young from 1970 album Deja Vu, Carry On. I really, really enjoy the out-of-tune acoustic guitar that starts this song and carries out throughout, because it just so weird to hear it, but it totally fits the song. And, these guys are just like the Eagles. The harmonies in this band is so amazing. And back in the 70s, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, they were the thing. They were all over the place. Too bad Young kind of went off and did his own thing. But his guitar playing on this is fantastic. Song number 8 from Elton John's album Too Low for Zero, 1983. I'm Still Standing. I'm gonna piggyback off Steve, and this is my feel-good song. The other day we watched Rocket Man on Amazon. Fantastic movie, and they had a little spot on this song. I'm like, oh my god, I totally forgot about this song. This is just one of those songs. It's makes you feel good song, and there's like a 3-second guitar solo in there that I have no clue who does it, but it's a really, 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 really great song for 1983. Another one of those songs that were all over the place. I think it won like Video of the Year or Choreography of the Year from MTV. Song number 9 from Stevie Ray Vaughan's Texas Flood, 1983, Pride and Joy. How can you not talk about one of the influential guitar players from the early 80s if you're not talking Stevie Ray Vaughan? The way he plays that Fender Strat is just amazing. The Rocky Blues feel of this song is so amazing. It's just a great, great song, and I'm glad I was able to put that on the list because it just kind of made that cutoff to kind of balance out this list a little bit. And then to close out the album, I'm going song number 10, Huey Lewis and the News from the Sports album, 1983, I Want a New Drug. 1983 was a crazy year because 1984, there were only 5 number 1 albums that whole year. You had Thriller, you had Purple Rain, you had Born in the USA, you had Footloose, you had the Footloose soundtrack, and you had this album. You had keyboards and guitars on this song, and another sucker for me. The background vocals are really cool. Horns in there, fantastic. To throw a little horns in there from 1983, and then the outro solo, there's little horns and some guitar work in there. It's just a great mixed bag to end my list of a mixed bag. So,
bag of pills.
I'm gonna say, Steve's gonna say my bag of puke, but hopefully you boys enjoyed some of these songs.
You're gonna have to wait to find out. What do you think, Dylan?
This was a really cool eclectic list that I wasn't expecting, but I really enjoyed it. Ultimately, I have to say, some of my favorite songs are the Bruce Springsteen song, Adam Raised a Cain. I've always wanted to get into Bruce Springsteen, and I couldn't find...
Why?
I'm fascinated by his following and how many people love him and worship at the cult of Springsteen. And Mrs. Missoura, our English teacher, has such good taste that I want to honor her by getting into Springsteen. Everybody else around the table does not agree with me, but
I agree with you, buddy.
The solo in it is really good. I really like the solo in it, done by Springsteen himself.
Yep.
To showcase how good of a guitar player he is. I really appreciate it. So this might be the nudge I need to finally get into the boss. The next song I want to spotlight, Elton John, I'm Still Standing. I'm a huge Elton John fan. I love the background vocals in this song. They have that uplift. I could tell why it's your feel-good song. I think he's an artist that deserves the praise he gets. And I thought the Rocket Man was a really good movie too. Taron Egerton does a really good job as Elton John, and he sings the songs on that too. So that's really cool. Instead of like with Bohemian Rhapsody, how Rami Malek is just lip syncing to Freddie Mercury. It's cool that Taron Egerton actually sang the songs on Rocket Man. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Pride and Joy. You can't go wrong with a little 12-bar blues. Fantastic soloing. Somebody that was taken from us too soon. Died in a plane crash, right? Was that what happened?
Plane or helicopter, yeah.
Fantastic guitar player. Just what I think of when I think of Texas blues. I think of Stevie Ray Vaughan, a fantastic artist. And then Huey Lewis and the News, I Want a New Drug. I can't think of the sports album without thinking of American Psycho, because Patrick Bateman was like, this is when Huey Lewis and the News came into their own, both commercially and artistically. Like as he was about to kill the guy, and he had the tarp down and everything, but it's a good song. They're more than just the power of love and hip to be square. Even it's a good artist.
They want a new drug. That's all.
And he was great in his cameo on Back to the Future. Yeah, it was a good list.
All right. So it comes to me. I'm going to go down your list as it goes as I look at it. Bruce Springsteen, I mean, I would agree with Dylan where he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
He's the great story. And this song is angry, man. It's old, new, up-and-coming Bruce Springsteen, where it's just a nice angry belt. Seven Bridges Road, if you've seen the documentary on the Eagles, it starts off with them, Timothy B. Schmidt, Don Henley, Glenn Frey, and they're all just in their dressing room singing that. That's how. And now there's a 2-hour one on Netflix. I think that's crap. This one's like 4 hours long. It's
there's a long one. Yeah,
it's great. But that's how it starts out. And man, it's just those 4 or 5 just in the corner, in a circle rather, just singing that song, cool. Getting it ready, and it just gives you the chills. I mean, how they brought it for a 3-chord song. It's a piece of work. It's really great. Jethro Tull. I'm a Jethro Tull fan. I'm a Jethro Tull fan. Ian Anderson, see? I don't care what he says. I believe Aqualung is a concept album. He always says it's not. It is. There's a lot of things where I think things are like locomotive breath out of context. It has to do with that. It's about his views of religion and God. But really, that whole album is a piece of work. But Cross-Eyed Mary, believe it or not, I'll tell you a little. That was going to be our band name when we first started off in 1991. We were going to be Cross-Eyed Mary. We were Absolute Black Ascent because the one guy that said, maybe they'll think we're a Jethro Tull cover band. I said, in Simpson? But we were almost called Cross-Eyed Mary. And my wife wasn't very fond of that at the time. She wasn't my wife at the time.
She wasn't married.
But really, Ian Anderson is just genius. Then you've got Martin Barr on guitar. Jeffrey Hammond on bass at that time, and Clive Bunker is on drums at that time. It's just those guys are so good. It's so tight. Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind. I think he wears a sweater in that video. That's the only thing I can tell you. But I think he has a red sweater on or something. I'm thinking, that's inappropriate. Why would a grown man be wearing a sweater in a video?
It was chilly.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Really, Crosby, Stills, Nash. I mean, Young comes in later. This is their second, Deja Vu's their second album. For me, the great song, I love that guitar riff. It almost needs to be louder. You know what I mean? But the beautiful thing for me is, because I know they played on Deja Vu, they had a whole bunch of studio guys come in. I think Teacher's on that album, for example.
Yep.
And I think it's Jerry Garcia who plays the slide guitar on that. Mm-hmm. But I believe, for me on Carry On, Stephen Stills plays bass on it. And it's just a great bass line. And I think it comes from Stephen Stills' 2 songs that he had written with Buffalo Springfield. That keyboard bang, he put the 2 together because they needed an opener or something. I'm still standing. I was not. I'll be the first to tell you I'm not an Elton John 80s fan. I'm saying I think some of these guys that were the classics in the 70s kind of went. They did whatever they could do because they were trying to get on videos. But this is probably one of the one before the '85 album where they just kind of
fell off.
But it's Bernie Taupin on the lyrics. I love the fact that somebody just comes in with a whole script of here's some songs, here's some words, and he just writes the music while the band's in the studio with them. If you've seen the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road or anything like that. Stevie Ray Vaughan, I have to agree with Dylan. It's just when you think, I don't want to say he brings blues to the forefront because there's been blues forever, but he's synonymous with blues and maybe even popular blues, pop blues.
I think he kind of gave it a kick in the ass.
I mean? Where all of a sudden people took notice of it. I mean, you have ZZ Top and you have your other great blues bands, but he really brings it. Great list. A very unexpected list, I would have to say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, BB, I love you, my friend. I really do.
Right.
But we'll get to that.
Pick the good ones.
We'll get to that later.
We're talking good stuff.
There's a couple good ones I left for you.
I didn't even name my own list, but I'm naming your list this Revenge on Steve list for making me listen to Massive Wagons. Okay? Foreigner Head Knocker. I totally you were totally 100% correct. I totally forgot about that song. Really good, excellent. The Bad Company, Rock Steady, fucking fantastic, excellent. We saw them do that at Montage. It was kick ass. Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind. I fucking love that song. Yeah! I absolutely fucking love that song. And Saxon does a kick-ass version of it as well. And like the little Michael McDonald thrown in there, Got a Long Way to Go shit is I don't know why. That's one of the songs that I love that I don't know why I love it, and kind of want to crawl under the table with the looks Dave's giving me now. I want a new drug.
Shock.
I want a new drug. Cool. Love Huey Lewis. I thought his stuff was very catchy, very timely. I think when that stuff came out, like his stuff fit like perfect in there. Very cool. All right, so that was.
He's got 4 songs to pick from that he hates.
That was.
They may be all 4 of them.
That was the love. So, I mean, if you didn't not like something, don't if you didn't like something, good. If you really hated it, whatever. But Dave, if there's songs you didn't care for on someone's list, throw 1 or 2 out from everyone's list or whatever.
This is where the fun goes.
I would say for me personally, it would have to be, it's the David Bowie off of Let's Dance. Off of that album, other than Modern Love, that's
good, Tom.
Modern Love's a great one.
Modern
That's
Love
the only one that I like off that album. Like that's when he just got that. Oh, I hated that '80s stuff so much. Like when it seemed like they only wrote songs for videos. They didn't write songs for songs. They wrote them for videos.
They
wrote
true.
them for that appeal to be on. And we didn't have MTV hits or like the '90s. So what the hell were they doing in the '80s?
Yeah.
You had it up in Binghamton or maybe in Philly. We never had it.
They had it in Archibald because we were going out with some girls that had it. We'd take the bus down there every day to watch
You
MTV.
lucky dogs.
Demand your MTV.
They were nice girls. It wasn't just for
demand
MTV.
your MTV. You had to demand your MTV.
Yeah.
Adams Cable gave
Sting
it the
was right.
fuck you. All right, BB.
Go around the.
Yeah.
I just picked one from everybody.
Yeah. Be fair.
Just because.
Yeah,
It's hip to be fair.
Yeah, that's right. Because I know Steve's got 4 of mine that he hates, so I figured I'd get.
You're optimistic.
Dylan, another great list. The only one we've said this 87 million times on the podcast. I still need to get into Alice Cooper. So Cold Ethel, I have to. I gotta get in. I gotta get into Alice.
So you've never been a huge Alice guy.
I'm trying. I tried all songs. I can't. There's some songs that are awesome.
I'm like a hits guy with Alice.
I like the 80s stuff better than the 70s stuff. Like
even the 70s
a couple songs
hits
here and
I
there,
like.
70s stuff, but like the 80s stuff is, I think, a lot better than the
Yeah,
early
now
stuff.
produced by Frank Zappa. Come on.
I like Frank Zappa.
Dave, another great list. I'm gonna just pick the Cars. If I have to rank them, that's probably number 10. Only because it's it's tough. He's got a tough list here. And righty, I'm on the same page as Dave. I'm gonna pick the Bowie one. I'm not the Bowie guy.
Don't forget about BC's list either.
BC was Foghat.
It's not even on my list, and you guys broke my heart.
BC was a Foghat song because I haven't got on that bandwagon yet either. I know you're. I know.
Same thing. I can't.
I know. Steve's huge on the Foghat.
Maybe Slow Ride it does it for me. It's just so overplayed.
Forget about Slow Ride. They're stuck on Slow Ride. Done.
Okay. I just want to preface this. I don't think there was really any song that I hated or anything like that. I really enjoyed everybody's list. Like these are kind of if I had to pick songs from everybody's list. So I'll say for Dad's list, maybe Breakup Song, just because I've heard it so much. It kind of wore out for me, but again, I like it. I still enjoy it, but Dave, probably I'm Your Captain, but again, I still like that song. It's a great song, but BB, if I had to pick, maybe the Eagles, just because it lacked something for me, but I like the story behind it, that it was a warm-up thing, so it's kind of holds differently to me. And then BC, let's see, probably Desperado. And I like the Eagles.
I'm gonna say, what the heck's with the Eagles tonight,
But
Dill?
I can't take Desperado seriously anymore because there's an episode
Seinfeld.
of Seinfeld
Oh.
where it's like the one guy's song and he has to like stop and listen to Elaine, could you
witchy
just...
woman? She wants hers to be witchy
Oh,
woman.
witchy
He's trying to defuse a bomb. Wait a minute, Desperado's on. Can you shut up, please? Boom!
So that's why I had to pick Desperado. But again, I really enjoyed everybody's list. They were all fantastic.
Hey, if you're gonna rank them, one of them has to be 10.
This was
Right.
probably
Yeah.
one, for in my opinion, one of the most solid all the way through, playlists for me, if I had to say. But
All right.
I'll
Cool.
hand the mic over to you.
Yes. I actually took a screenshot of everyone's list, and I'm just gonna go down whatever order they're in. Dave's comes up first. I'm your captain. I like it, but it's fucking 10 minutes long. And one thing I meant to say about Band on the Run, that's like 2 different songs, like in that. You know what I mean?
3.
Yeah.
Because the keyboard comes in and then he had. Then
It's
they have
cool.
the melody.
I forgot to mention that I do like that, how that is, and I always remember that coming on the radio when we were going out to Elk Lake in my mom's car. So that was cool. So I'm gonna say
The neat thing about me is when I was looking at these songs and you saw the B-sides that was on something because they were generally released as singles, they're great too. All of these, like there's something that's released as a 45 with something on the other side or a second track, but I found that interesting.
all right. BB's list is next. I need to crack a fresh beer for this one. Stand by.
Wait, let me sit.
Okay. All right.
Comfortable.
Let me say, I already have 4 of them circled.
I just want to ask you. You do realize this is a rock and roll list, right? Okay.
So you said classic rock.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm just
classic
asking.
rock.
I'm just
Okay.
asking.
Hey, we had to listen to U2. So if U2 is definitely not rock.
And remember
I
when
know
Jethro
it.
Tull beat Metallica out?
Exactly for a Grammy. Hello.
See, there you go. There you go. Oh my God. That shows you how
Man, you should do a Jethro Tull episode.
fucked up the world
I
is.
will be honored.
You guys can do that when I go on vacation next year. When we're on the Monsters of Rock cruise, you guys can do a fucking Jethro Tull
So
episode.
many good songs.
Oh my God!
All right, so you already. All right, so that's.
Right.
I already got that one right.
Jethro Tull, Cross-Eye Mary. I'm
Yep.
not a Tull fan.
Yep.
I even hate the Iron Maiden version of it. It's a skipper for me. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Yes,
dude.
got that one.
Seriously,
Really?
Pride and Joy was good.
Right.
I'm Still Standing was okay.
I'm giving
see?
myself a half a.
Yeah,
check
no,
mark
I
for
don't mind that one. I like
Okay.
that. It's your feel good song. I'm not gonna knock anyone's feel good song. But Bruce Springsteen, fucking seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was that was the
blowing
free
up
space on the bingo board.
and it's
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
It's funny today. I had this. My wife and I went out. We were in the car for probably about an hour. So I had this list playing, and I had it on shuffle play. And I'm like, oh, here's the list of what we're playing today. So, and she's like, oh, who is it? I said, it's me, BC, Dylan, BB, and Dave Borosky. So she's like, okay. So I said, you need to guess who picked each song as we go along. So she didn't get anybody right for the most part. She got a couple right.
Did she guess that I was Springsteen?
She thought you picked Springsteen,
Yeah, that's
Dylan.
what I
Yeah.
figured, yeah.
And
I know my mom.
and I'm like, I fucking hate the Dave Matthews Band. The fucking Dave Matthews Band is the fucking Springsteen of the fucking 90s and 2000s. But
Which do you like better?
But there's a lot of Springsteen songs that I really like. There are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you picked like fucking Atlantic City or something like that, I'd be all over that shit. I'd be fucking all over.
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road is good. Born to Run even would be
Lands.
cool. I'm a hits guy for him, but like I fucking love Atlantic City. If you picked that, I would have been all over your shit.
I just picked this because it starts off with that crazy. I'm like, this is gonna catch his ear. And then when he
classic
starts
list, baby.
singing, he's probably gonna say, "This guy sucks."
Yeah, I just maybe if I
That's
heard
one of
it,
those too,
but you know
yeah.
what? Like every time he sings, I just picture him
Young and rusty.
in a vocal booth, sitting on a toilet, taking a shit, singing. That's how he fucking sounds like he's straining to take a dump when he's fucking singing. It drives me crazy.
The views expressed by Steve Wright do not necessarily reflect the Potter Than Hell podcast.
You gotta love it when there's a disclaimer after you talk. But I Seven Bridges Road. I'm not. You guys know I'm not an acoustic guy. But I give you kudos, and you got your fucking revenge on me today. And I knew it was coming, but I didn't think it was coming this soon.
I'm old. I would have forgot.
BC's list. Maggie May. Not a ballad guy. It's not bad.
ballad.
It's
not a ballad.
It's not. What is it?
It's got too much.
Well,
of a
you know
get up
what?
and go
It
to be a
is.
ballad.
It is Rod Stewart trying to copy Kiss's "Hard Luck Woman." Okay.
I feel like Rod Stewart came first.
I think so.
I'm just flipping it. I'm trying to give it a good spin.
Peter Chris was definitely going for a Rod Stewart.
Dylan's list.
This is good. I like this.
Actually, I have no problem with Dylan's list at all.
Oh my God.
Fucking none. Which is
shit.
none. Because my and
So
I'm
what
not,
would be
I'm,
if
I'm
you
not
had
a
to
Beatles
rank
fan.
them? What would be your 10?
Out of Dylan's list?
Like if you had to rank them and move them around.
Of Dylan's list?
Yeah. What would you
My
put last?
my least favorite out of Dylan's list would probably be one way or another. Would probably be my bottom one out of his 10.
Okay.
But I would take it over some other songs. And that's it, though. But you know what? I love this classic stuff, and I still have not deleted my last classic rock when we did the first version of this. I still have that list in my playlist. This one I'll modify it maybe a little bit, and keep most of the songs on there. But it's always fun though. I love when Dave comes on because here's Dave nailing off guys that are in like Jethro Tull. I'm like, all right.
See?
Yeah,
I gotta give it up to you for that shit.
I
You know what I mean? He's like the classic rock guy of us.
See, I made the pizza for our guest. That's what I did.
That's true. But like
that list I did not expect from you. I
know.
honestly
it was
not expect
well, you know what? It was unexpected, but it was expected. But like I said, I wasn't expecting it this soon. Like 2 weeks later.
I told you.
How many 8-tracks do you own? That would be the first question. How many 8-tracks? Like I have high fidelity still on 8-track.
Oh, dear.
I still
my
have
8 tracks are gone. Mine are, but I had a
I still have
shitload.
a couple. I think
I
the last one I have was like maybe Women and Children First.
I have a couple stuff in the
Bannon
attic. I have
still
Love Gone.
going.
I have a
three.
couple.
I have the 2 double platinum. I have the original Kiss.
Cool. All right, so let's go around. We'll wrap up here. Dylan.
This was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed listening to everybody's lists. Honestly, I listened to some songs that I had forgotten about and rediscovered a love for. I had listened to some new songs that I'd never even heard before and really found some stuff that I think is great music. And if there ever was a time to listen to the Spotify playlist of the week, which you could find in the show notes, I think this episode is a really good time to do it because everybody really brought out their A game, I think, in picking all these awesome classic rock songs. And some of them you might be able to hear on the radio, but there are some that are really cool deep tracks that are deserving of your attention. I really love how everybody dug deep and just brought out some great guitar playing, some great vocals, just great musicianship from all these different artists. And thanks everybody for giving good lists. Honestly, it was probably one of my favorite episodes to listen to.
Oh, well, as far as me, when I come on this, when I have to do my research, and because you never want to leave any stone unturned, but I like coming on because I grow as a music listener. I grow as someone who appreciates, because music rules my world. As soon as I get up, I put the phone on and music is on. And some people, my brother, my youngest brother said something to me very interesting a couple of weeks ago, and he said, Dave, music doesn't do anything for me.
Really?
And I said to him, "You're a fucking idiot." I didn't know how to respond. Like I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me that you could hear a song and what do you think of that drum? Drums? Who's like? I don't understand. Like it doesn't compute to me. So for somebody that it's a big part of what you do and who you are as a human being. I grow when I come on here because I get to listen to stuff. I'm gonna go home and listen to like some UFO. I'm gonna get some UFO in my life today, and I probably heard some stuff. Yeah. But I'm going to get some more in, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to have, there's different, for example, when I was doing my research, Bruce Kulick is actually playing with
Grand Funk.
Grand Funk?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Playing with Grand
He's been
Funk
with
right
he's
now
been with them for over 10 years.
2002 or something like that, or 12. Like, he's been with it for a long, long time. I thought, wow, like it's amazing too, like the webs that these guys weave, how they know each other and they work with each other. The classic example would be Chicken Foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a bunch of guys. You got Chad, you've got Michael, you've got Joe Satriani. I thought I was listening to some Chicken Foot today and thinking to myself, he could play radio hits. He could if he wanted to.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And his tone is very nice and it works. So I grow. I grow musically from being on it. That's what I enjoy.
It had to be your brother Matt that said that.
He did.
Okay. Because I know Mark's a fan. I know Greg is a crazy fan.
Yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't register to me.
And I've said that before.
I feel bad for him. I said, I feel
I've said
bad
that
for you
before.
because-
I've said it on
oh
this
my
podcast.
goodness.
I feel bad for anybody that doesn't have music in their life. Like, you just drive in your car with nothing on.
You don't have to play. I mean, somebody's got to pick up the air guitar.
Shit.
It's not going to play. That air guitar's not going to play itself.
I'm a
It's not
fucking
gonna play
virtuoso
itself.
on the fucking air guitar.
Exactly. It's not going to
I
play
was
itself.
I was air guitaring many times listening to this list.
Yeah, that's. I think it's sad when someone has no music in their life and it does nothing for them.
It's a
I don't know.
universal language.
I
don't get it.
I think it's something's missing. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's wow.
It makes me a happier person because it controls. When I'm in the car, usually what I'm listening to controls me. If I'm in a bad, I'll listen from everything from classical to Frank Sinatra to
Right.
I'll be listening to maybe Iron Maiden. All of a sudden, joining my sit. How can we do a 93? We're in a 45 here. Oh, okay. I got to
Ease off the pedal,
We're
Dave.
just listening to Iron Maiden. Brrr. Yeah, definitely a great episode. And I've said this time and time again. I love when I discover old music, especially Golden Country from REO Speedwagon has turned into new music, which came out the year I was born. So that song is as old as I am. So, in today being this week being the first time I heard it, what made me go back to their catalog. It's just a fantastic episode, and just to see everybody else's list, how you guys kind of picked classics, it definitely shows that there is so much more out there, under the classics title. We can do this show for frickin' ever,
And I like when you turn somebody on to something because it's like a
Exactly.
gift you've given them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like when
Oh,
you said
absolutely.
thank you for the Kansas and stuff. Like I
Right.
go home and listen to some Foreigner.
Because the first episode, I
'Cause I
turned
haven't-
Dylan on to Triumph.
Yeah.
Now Dylan has turned you on to UFO
Exactly.
to do
Like
more
I've
homework.
thanked you and Chris Jankowskis
Yeah.
for Tool. I'm like, I missed out a lot.
Where have they been? Exactly. It's a variable.
Right.
But you're right.
Yeah, it's definitely a great, back-to-back fantastic episodes.
Yeah. Once again, Dave, thanks for coming on. I always love having Dave on here. I love his insights. I love his just his love of
Where's
music.
the doctor? He knows his shit.
He is. He's got his doctorate in classic '70s rock, and actually, he's the one that got me listening to Scorpions. And I remember him talking about it, and he's saying, oh, and then I had heard of the like the Blackout album. I've heard of like Love Drive, but then he's like, oh yeah, and I remember saying, oh yeah, you got to check out Lonesome Crow. I'm like, Lonesome Crow, what the fuck is that? And checked it out, and
Ulrich Roth is on that. Oh
Yeah.
man, what a great guitar player.
And just like but it's so different because, and we talked about it. We just did Scorpions. Those guys did a Scorpions episode when I was on my podcation, and then we did Worldwide Live for my birthday episode, and they totally abandoned the 70s shit in the 80s. I mean,
Did
they
you see that show in '84 Worldwide Live?
Yeah,
I was at that
yeah,
show as well.
Philly. Were you on the bus?
I saw them in Binghamton.
Okay, we saw them in Philly.
Bon Jovi was the opening.
Bon
act,
Jovi,
correct?
yeah, for their first tour.
There were about 100 people there I thought it said
Oh,
my
really?
brother Mark. I remember sitting there. This guy's going to be something. It was really weird because it had about like 4 lights on him. That was it. He had all these bandanas.
Yeah,
he
they
was
were-
doing stuff like roulette. They were
I remember.
very good live.
I distinctly remember Roulette. I'm
And I
like,
said to my
wow,
brother
that
Mark,
song was fucking
he's got shot
fantastic.
through the heart. I said, this band is very
Yeah.
good. Like I've
Yeah.
never heard anything like it. These guys are going to be good. Scorpions kicked ass, of course, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. But once again, Dave, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for your
having me.
insights. Thank you for Tool. Thank you for making me dig deeper into Scorpions. And this was
And you're going to be thinking
In
of
the-
Radiohead.
You're soon to
the
be
80s.
Radiohead.
I got a
And that
2-year
Jethro
window.
Tull
I got a
episode,
2-year
you're
window.
gonna be, I'll get
uh,
you some stuff that's just.
What I'll do is to give us the download, I'll start playing it, and then once you get into the episode, I'll just zip right to the end.
Then for the Bruce Springsteen episode, you're
Yep.
on your own.
Yeah.
So keep
Damn it.
Dave in mind when
I'll
you're gonna
do
when I'm
Somebody
on
back me up.
vacation next year, and then when I'm on vacation the second week, you guys can do your Springsteen shit.
Yes.
But there already is a Springsteen podcast. Just listen to that guy. I don't even know what it's called. But once again, you guys, this was awesome listening to all this stuff, and even the stuff that I hated, I liked. But it's always interesting. It's cool just seeing like what's out there. But like, there's bands that when you do classic rock, you can't get away from.
Right.
Foreigner, the Cars. We had them on both episodes. We had a Styx pick. Dave had Renegade but he had that on the last episode as well.
He likes it so
Great
much. He
song,
wanted to
yeah. But I
pick
mean,
it twice.
there's bands you're not REO Speedwagon. You're not getting away from some of these bands. Led Zeppelin, for instance, and there's ones that repeated within all of our lists in this week. But
that's the thing. You get different perspectives on things.
Absolutely.
That's a new perspective.
Absolutely.
4 different perspectives.
And we've done 2 classic rock episodes, and there was not one fucking Kiss song picked in either one.
Well, we talk about Kiss so much.
We do. No, I know that, but I was waiting for maybe BB or BC to throw in a Kiss song.
Throw in something.
Which they would not have been out of the realm of picking something on this list. Sure. Like a Detroit Rock City or
Right.
Calling Dr. Love or Rock and Roll All Night or something like that. Or even a deeper track. But like if you're talking about this stuff, you're pretty much, for the most part, throwing out shit that everyone's familiar with. I mean, there were a couple songs on here I was like, okay, what is this? Like Desperado, I was aware of that. Like, I don't listen to it, I know what it is. Like, and the Seven Bridges song, I've heard it, and I'm like, okay, it's it's out there. But, but now there's so much stuff. Like even BC picked Maggie May. I said to my wife, she goes, "Who picked this one?" I said BC. She goes, oh, "Okay." I said, "But like he could have picked Hot Legs or Passion or."
Yeah, there's so many.
Like,
that's off of that Rod Stewart, like his greatest hits album where he's wearing the pink leather thing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of it, even the
Yeah.
Georgie Boys on it, which is out there. But
Yeah.
it's in that.
I mean,
realm
he's got
of
some
that.
great stuff. And if you look on, and actually I looked on who played on Maggie May, it was like Ron Wood and
Sure.
like,
That's Faces stuff, yeah.
So there's a ton of great stuff out there. Hope you guys, check out these songs, dig a little deeper into them. Once again, BB, good job. Pretty much. Dylan, good job. Dave, great job.
Thanks for having me.
BB got his revenge tonight for sure.
Yes,
and
that's what I'm looking for.
Thanks out there, you guys, for listening. It's always awesome talking about this stuff, and we got a ton of cool shit coming up. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and everybody stay safe out there. Let's.
Wear your mask.
Wear your mask. Do your social
Wear your mask,
distancing. All
wash
that
your hands.
shit. Wash your hands, you filthy fucking animals out there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time, and there definitely will be a next time.